Okay, well, many people are asking, with a peace deal between the US and Iran, who won? And I think the answer is quite simple. Donald Trump and the US have lost. They have been humiliated. They've spent billions upon billions of dollars. They have killed up to 6,000 people in Iran. They've caused massive amounts of misery. And the deal is essentially the status quo before the war began, but with some bonuses for Iran. Iran will immediately be able to sell its oil. It will get access to money that's been frozen in bank accounts. And in return for agreeing to discuss nuclear matters, it's probably going to get access to $300 billion in reconstruction, which may well be funded by the Gulf states, and it will be freed of sanctions. So if things go according to plan from the Iranian point of view, it will be a massive victory for them, and their only concession is to agree not to build a nuclear bomb, which is a case that a commitment that they had made many times before. In fact, the deal is weaker than one that Barack Obama made with Iran in 2015, where the enriched uranium that they had to be sent to Russia. This time with the Trump deal, the Iranians hang on to their enriched uranium, but they just have to dilute it a bit. So on every front, the loser in this war is the United States, and although the Strait of Hormuz will reopen, the losers too are workers and the poor and farmers all around the world, because fuel costs are not going to drop substantially. Access to fertilizer will still be difficult. It will take months or even years to bring the various oil and gas industries in the Gulf back online, and that means higher prices and inflation, and basically a penalty on the working class. So I think our response to the peace deal should be that the US has been humiliated, but that workers and the poor have to be prepared to fight to make sure that we're not paying the price of this rotten war.
And what about the recent development over the past 24 hours, David?
Sorry. And over the last 24 hours, there's been some suspicion that the deal may not stick. But I think it's the Iranians flexing their muscles. They held back from going to Switzerland for talks, but I think that was them disciplining the United States to get the United States to discipline Israel. And it's very, very clear. Sometimes people think Israel controls the US. It's very clear that the US has the power over Israel because it supplies the bulk of its ammunition and weapons. And I think the Iranians were just tugging on the American leash to say, we're not going to start our talking, which is meant to run for the next 60 days, until you've pulled the Israelis into line. And it looks like the Israelis have now fallen into line. Of course, a lot can happen in the next 60 days. The deal isn't set in concrete. It's just a memorandum of understanding. The possibility of fighting on multiple fronts is there again. But one thing is absolutely certain: the US has lost this war.